Bavik,
Manish Bhai.
it happened.
It definitely happened.
I don't know what to do. It happened.
Wait, are you talking about the suntan, or are you talking about what our actual topic is for today?
I'm not sure anymore. Just show me. Both have happened. Do you know how I felt after that revelation in Miss Marvel episode 6? I can barely talk. This is what's going on. This was me.
Oh dear, you've got sunstroke. You got sunstroke.
I think it's happened. But this was me.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody just calm down.
That was me, literally. After the revelation came out at the end of Miss Marvel.
Shall we talk about the revelation now, or shall we talk about
Dude,
it?
let's just get into it. Let's just get into it.
Play the theme music.
I'm not going to play the theme music, but I will play.
Okay.
As I said, I haven't got the theme music, and I'm worried about copyright.
Copyright.
But I did manage to clip this, and this still might get us a copyright, but this is essentially what happens.
Kamala, there's something different in your genes. Like a mutation.
As soon as I heard that, I didn't even care for the mutation part. I heard that part, it immediately made me think of the original X-Men cartoon. And I was just like, yes. So everything that everyone thought, the Scarlet Witch is going to be the introduction to the X-Men? No.
That was my idea.
Marvel literally were like to everyone, here, just throw something.
Dude, leave your Mac alone. Your Mac got nothing wrong to you.
They literally was like, oh, you think it's going to be the Scarlet Witch? No. It's going to be, I'm not going to say the swear word, but Miss Marvel.
Yeah, it was Miss Marvel. And you know something? Kay has consistently throughout these streams been spot on with his predictions time and time again. And actually, you were pretty spot on as well with prediction.
Hi, Keko, bye.
As well. So well done to you. You've both been very good with your predictions, actually, during Miss Marvel. So I want to applaud you both.
I'm sorry, I still can't get over the fact that when I heard that, I had to rewind it a few times just to make sure that I wasn't hearing things.
I agree, my brother. I still think it's going to be revealed that Scarlet Witch is the first mutant.
Okay.
I still think, like, not the first mutant, but I think we're going to find out that she's a mutant.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a bit further down the line. We're going to find that she's a mutant. I think this was just a nice way to tease it, because I'm not sure what they want to do to Scarlet Witch character. She's, been crushed by a temple.
Well, apparently she's still alive, because when she was being crushed by the temple, the light appeared, or like her red crimson light. Well, not even crimson, rather scarlet light appeared. She might have been like, she's hiding, or maybe another Scarlet Witch has dragged her.
A multiversal Scarlet, absolutely. But my brother says hi back, by the way. Hi. So yeah, essentially at the end of the episode, Brian, aka Bruno, aka the cock blocker, he essentially tells Miss Marvel, after all the fun and games, if damage control is over, yeah, I've done some more research, and your powers don't actually come from the bangle. Which actually, that riff sounds very much like a Whitney Houston song. Whatever you want from me, I'll be your baby tonight. I'll send you the song later. But if anybody at home watching, Google that song or YouTube that song. It sounds very much like the X-Men theme tune. Anyway, so Bruno says, yeah, it's mutation. Then Bavik, what do you hear? And to be honest, I didn't hear it the first time. Dowdy texted me and said, did you hear it? I was like, No.
I think because when I watched it yesterday, immediately when I watched it a few times. I texted you saying, "I watched it. Do you know what I'm gonna say?" or something like that. We both knew. It's a what is it like a silent code? Not silent code. We just knew.
Yeah, we knew. I mean, it's as soon as like Brian, aka Bruno, aka Cockblocker, said, "You," I was like, that was my reaction.
I'm just so happy.
Which is probably why I never heard the X-Men thing, because I was like so kind of taken aback by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
I mean, I think it probably might be the case when you heard mutant, you were just so fixated on that one word, you didn't hear what was going on behind.
Well, I mean, let's just take this into what this means on a wider scale, first of all, for the fandom. Every single Marvel fan has been waiting for this moment, Bavik. It's fair to say. They've been waiting for when the news came that, yeah, Kevin Feige's got control of the X-Men franchise again. Everybody saw the great work Kevin Feige done with the Avengers, and they're like, right, we want to see Feige take the X-Men back. And now he has them, and this has split the internet. It's fair to say.
I feel like I'm going to be triggered by what's been going to say. If there's any negativity,
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is a safe space now. This podcast is now a safe space. You can breathe now. Safe space.
It's a good thing I've got my lightsaber in my hand.
Yeah, thank God for your lightsaber.
All right.
I'm just excited about mutants. God damn it. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, it split. It split the fandom down the middle, because there's people who don't like Miss Marvel, and the other thing as well is that in the comics, Miss Marvel gets her powers from being an Inhuman, not from being
a mutant.
How do you feel?
I'm just happy the X-Men are coming back.
I don't care.
I don't care. But what I will say is, well, even if Scarlet Witch is one of the introductions to the X-Men, I'm happy in terms of the actresses that are playing Miss Marvel. She is carrying a massive weight on her shoulder.
Yes,
I feel like now, and I'm actually so happy in terms of, look, I'm gonna say it, in terms of representation, her being a character and whatnot.
female.
I am glad all of the boxes, female, Muslim, Asian. Oh, there was something going on there. Ticked all the boxes.
Got noisy neighbours. What can I say?
Oh God. Yeah, ticked all the boxes, and it's just kind of like you could have had anyone. Yes. All right, you could have had like a male white person who's a mutant who's got superpowers that done it. No, we've done it the other way, and I'm just like, yes, this is another victory for us.
And the things as well, it didn't just say the term mutant. Saying mutant by itself, well, he says mutation technically, but
yeah,
you know, we're not going to nitpick.
Yeah.
But it says the term mutation, and then that by itself would have been huge. But then they put the X-Men music over it as well.
Yeah, you never know. It probably might be the case that it might be in like a curveball. You never know. But
I think it'd be a lot of hate if that happens.
Do you know what? In all fairness, if it was the fact that it was a curveball, I'm glad for. I've not heard that little sound clip for a long time. When I heard it,
it's in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, we both know how I feel about that.
Okay, you've deleted that from your mind. Fair enough.
But yeah, I'm just really happy.
Yeah, my comment here. Miss Marvel show is groundbreaking, and I agree, it is a groundbreaking show. Don't get me wrong, the show has its deficiencies. It's not a perfect show by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
but I think sometimes it's more important to just put the message across
Yeah.
than worry too much about the other things. Marvel show is groundbreaking, but the right wing fandom will find anything to bring it down. Yeah, 100%. There's just some people you just have to you just got to carry on and just go with it. Like you're not going to please all the people all the time. Do you want me to play? You want me to play the clip again? Okay, I'll play the clip again because I'm nice like that.
Kamala, there's something different in your genes. Like a mutation.
Oh my god, she's a mutant. Sorry.
The thing is, do you know what? I want someone on YouTube to just basically make the whole entire duration of the whole show just that scene.
Just over and over again.
Just over and over again.
And you know what?
This might sound silly. Going back to the previous question, what's the difference between left wing and right wing?
Okay, that's a political question. I'll explain that to you after the show. I'll give you a full rundown of why I'm a lefty. I'm proud.
Okay.
Anyway. So yeah. Oh, God, I thought it was something fun. So yeah. I mean, yeah, so we find out that essentially her light powers were inside of her all along. They were generating mutation. So she's part clandestine, part mutant, it seems. Possibly the bangle has somehow kind of or if anything, maybe her, her mutant powers were passed down through generations. They were talking about things skip a generation. So it seems as though like her grandmother was probably a mutant as well. So
or probably it might be the case that the bangle was just more of an extension.
Yeah.
So like she's basically a hybrid between a mutant and a clandestine.
Yeah. And you do get those in Black Panther, which is coming up. We're going to meet the Submariner, who the actor apparently looks a bit like you, who plays him.
I need to see this.
Yeah, I didn't say this, by the way. My friend said it. He watches the stream. He said the Submariner looks a lot like your little cousin Bavik. He said.
Let me see. What's the guy's name?
I don't know. I've forgotten his name.
What is he called? Submariner.
Yeah.
Submariner.
Yeah. So.
Loads of watches come up.
But just put down Marvel. But yeah. So that happens, and she. Where do you think we're going to move forward?
I'm just going to research this later. So,
what do you think is the next? What do you think is the next step for her as a mutant? I think there's two questions here because there's two cutaway scenes. The first one is her as a mutant, and the second one is her in regards to the Marvel and like the Captain Marvel swappage thing. But I think all these things are interchangeable.
Yeah.
So first, as a mutant.
I just don't know. I'm just too excited. I'm just too excited. Ooh, there's a lot going on.
There is. Yep.
I don't look like him. Oh, actually, no.
Yeah. The person who said you look like him is happy. It was Dowdy, by the way. He just texted me to say he's happy to say that, like, it was him. To give his name.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll get onto that later. Like after the stream.
Okay, I kind of see it, but yeah, let's get on after the stream.
Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen moving forward? How do you think this story is going to develop? I have ideas, but I'll let you go first.
Can you go first?
I've got a slideshow.
Okay, do your slideshow.
You want me to go my slideshow? Okay. So this is what I want to happen. This is just me out there, just kind of thinking.
Are there transitions?
Okay, so
No.
what I think is, listen, yeah, call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever. I don't care. 2022, Marvel Comics produced a Miss Marvel. This isn't it, by the way, but released a Miss Marvel Wolverine limited edition story. It's just the two of them out there fighting crime and stuff. I think this is a big statement from me. I think that we're going to see Wolverine like pally up with Miss Marvel.
Interesting. So, but then is Hugh Jackman going to reprise the role as Wolverine?
Well, he says he doesn't want to. My feeling has always been that they need to. Hugh Jackman was a good Wolverine, all that. I ain't got an issue with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but my feeling's always been that Hugh Jackman is too tall to be Wolverine. Wolverine is 5'4" in the comics. Small.
I'm 5'7".
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you'd probably, yeah, you could play Wolverine. My feeling's always been they should get somebody who is about that height, small, stocky, very hairy, very smelly to play Wolverine. That's always been my theory. But anyway,
I think to say that I'm smelly.
I lost my sense of smell after COVID, so I can't answer that question.
Okay, before COVID.
You smelled wonderful before COVID. You always had a fine selection of shower gels and colognes which you used to wear. Yeah, so listen, I think that we're going to see Wolverine. I think we're going to see Miss Marvel basically team up with Wolverine, and I'll expand upon this. You've got Iman now. Let me just qualify this. I don't think this little short actor 5'4" exists. So we've got Iman Vellani, but imagine her teaming up with Carl Urban to be Wolverine.
Do you know, Reed, when you showed that photo, I immediately thought of Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
Okay. Anyway, we'll just move away from you in the sloth.
Now I see it. I can't unsee it.
You're ruining my slideshow.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think I'm just riffing here, but just imagine like Iman Vellani, Carl Urban in a show together, Carl Urban playing Wolverine, and him just being really grumpy, and Iman just being. Because to be honest, I think Iman Vellani and I think Kamala Harris, they're very I can't see it myself to be.
Okay, fine.
Okay, a little bit of the eyes.
Okay, there we go.
But yeah, I just imagine these two just teaming up. Now you may be asking, well, why are you so sure they're going to do a team up? Well, historically, in the Marvel comics, Wolverine has always had like a younger female sidekick, kind of like a adopted daughter.
Okay.
Kind of thing going on. So I think like his first adopted daughter was kind of a Shadow Cat Kitty Pryde. Then it was a robot called LCD, who was a bomb.
Is that the one in the top middle?
Yeah, who was a bomb, who was designed to blow up Wolverine, but then he ends up adopting her. And then she ends up blowing up, but not killing Wolverine in a wonderful act of sacrifice. It was a weird story. I'm not going to lie. It was bloody strange. My favorite Wolverine kind of sidekick partner has always been for me Jubilee. I've always thought they've had the best relationship.
Do you know what? They didn't really when they done like that revamp of the cartoon, I think it was called X-Men Evolution, and they had Jubilee in there. I wouldn't say Jubilee, but they also had Jubilee in the old one as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think in like later on in the seasons, they should have really like had her in more in the actual films, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they correct that now, and I hope we actually see a really good Jubilee character. But then, what I'm kind of saying is if they kind of push Miss Marvel into that kind of niche, then there won't necessarily be a need for Jubilee. And his last kind of sidekick is X-23, who we saw in the Old Man Logan movie, who is a clone of Wolverine and essentially his daughter. That is where I think this will go. Now, bear with me. I think the mutant crossover is going to be even bigger. What do we see at the end? At the after scene credit, we see something happen with the bangle, and Kamala essentially swap places with Carol Danvers. I'm pretty sure they swap places because Carol Danvers is looking around the room, not looking at her own body.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she's like transitioned into Carol Danvers. But that is a nod to the comics as well, because in the comics she does take on the form of Carol Danvers, because that's how she sees what superhero should be, but then she becomes comfortable with her own brown skin and basically allows herself to look like how she looks.
I mean, I think there was this. There was a scene where when Karam butchered that name, by the way, he was when they was having like their face off, and I think there was a scene where it's just kind of like there was an extreme close up of Miss Marvel's face, and you could see it's like, wait, is this what it basically is?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, carry on with your slideshow.
100%. Sorry, light bulb moment. An older X-23 from Old Man Logan crosses over to the MCU. The beauty of the multiverse is that is 100% possible. And she's a great actress who plays X-23 in Old Man Logan. 100%. I'd love to see that. Did the posters change? I don't think the posters did change, but she did look at the posters. You okay, Babak? You're a bit sleepy.
Yeah, no, I'm just very tired, very hot.
It's okay. It's okay. I guess for Miss Marvel, she was kind of, when Carol Danvers gets transported in, she's kind of like, would have it been a bit creepy for her being transported into that room with all these posters of her?
I would just be like, okay, so I've just walked in a walk-in shrine to myself. That's just
I would be like, yeah, this is a little creepy. So yeah, now then the scene ends and it says, oh, Miss Marvel will return in the Marvels. So something has happened there. In the X-Men, how does Rogue get her powers of flight and super strength? She essentially uses a power of absorption to hold on to Miss Marvel to take away her powers and to get her memories, but she holds on for too long, and and in the comics, Rogue permanently absorbs Carol Danvers' powers and her entire psyche into herself, which leads.
So essentially, she becomes another Miss Marvel.
But
not Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Yeah. So power-wise, though she's not as powerful as Miss Marvel, she just kind of has like half a power set basically. But she's still very strong and can still fly. But what she essentially does as well, she leaves Carol Danvers in a vegetative state.
Mm-hmm.
And Carol Danvers' psyche is trapped inside Rogue.
Oh, I see.
And basically then there's this entire story about where she has to basically, like, they have to live together in the same body. And as you can imagine, it's problematic. And as you can see from the artwork here, this was before Rogue grew her hair out. She was a bit like Hugh at this stage, like a couple of years ago before you grew your hair out. Then she found herself, grew her hair out.
I'm not being funny, but the image on the far right just makes Rogue look like she's turned like 75.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how they used to draw them back then. Pretty sure it's a movie. Pretty sure the Marvels is a movie. So yeah, and the Marvels is also going to feature Photon, who in the comics as well is also referred to as Captain Marvel for a period. But, mate, my bold prediction is the second mutant we're going to see is going to be Rogue, and Rogue is going to mess up Captain Marvel. That is my big, bold prediction for the Marvels.
So going back to Rogue,
Mhm.
now going back to like the original show, the cartoon, there was Rogue can like fly and everything like that.
Yeah.
In there. So did she was basically Captain Marvel in there?
So I never watched X-Men Evolution. In the original X-Men cartoon from the 90s, which has now been rebranded X-Men 97.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, there is actually an episode where they do a bit of a flashback story about Rogue and how she got her powers from Carol Danvers. They never like explain who Carol Danvers is, but they do. She does look like that, and yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so that is explained in the X-Men 97 comics as well. So yeah, so that is my. What do you think of my big bold prediction in the comments? What do you think of my big bold prediction that Rogue is going to be in the Marvels, and she is going to mess up Carol Danvers and basically do to her what she done in the comments? In the comments, in the comics.
In the comics. It'll be quite interesting to see if they actually who are they going to bring in as Rogue? This is the thing. Is do you know what the main for me is just like I don't care who you bring in. I just want to make sure that if I see someone who's basically Rogue, I want to see them. Okay, I want to see them as Rogue. I don't want no one to be like. It's just like they don't look realistic enough.
Yeah, I want to see that proper kind of Southern drawl and everything. I want someone who just instantly kind of like drawn to.
Who do you think Who do you think it should be in terms of Rogue?
In terms of casting, I've forgotten her real name, but do you watch Ozark?
No.
Okay, there's a character in Ozark called Ruth. I've forgotten her real name, but she's a fantastic actress, and that's who I would personally like to see cast as Rogue.
Okay.
Forgotten her real name though; it's really bugging me. But a few comments. Rogue was part of the Brotherhood. It was actually called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants back in the 70s and 80s. They really used to drive home who the good guys and who the bad guys were. And Rogue, essentially, because of what she done to Carol Danvers, had to go to Professor X for help in how to control her powers and whatnot. And that's essentially how Rogue ends up joining the X-Men.
So literally, the Brotherhood of Evil
Mutants.
literally were like, okay, yeah, that.
These are definitely the bad guys. They're called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
The Brotherhood of Evil. They basically was like, no, your powers are too much. You need to control them. Yeah.
No, that's not what. So basically, Mystique was her adoptive mother, essentially, and it reached a point where Rogue realized that Mystique could not help Rogue at all control her powers, and against Mystique's wishes, she went to Professor X, and Mystique was heartbroken that she would go to her enemy for help. So Rogue still has a lot of love for Mystique in the comics, but she also realizes that Mystique isn't a good person. My brother reckons it's too soon for Rogue to do that. Oh, come on, Cake. Let's just get straight into the nitty gritty. Let's just take out Carol Danvers now. I'm up for it. Yeah, and there was a Sisterhood of Evil Mutants as well, which was Mystique, Destiny, Rogue, Spiral, who wasn't a mutant. She was from the Mojoverse.
Emma Frost?
Nope, she was Hellfire Club. There were other sisters. I can't remember who they were, but there were other sisters as well.
I just love how anyone and everyone in the X-Men is like one day are like one group, they're like evil, and then the next minute they're good, and then the next minute they're evil again. It's just kind of just make up your life story, please. But I like it. It's fine, but just like still make up your life story.
Right, my brother wants the X-Men introduced first. But what if we done a story where Rogue comes in, does what she does to Captain Marvel, goes through an entire kind of like 2-year movie run where she's kind of like a bad guy, and then the X-Men introduced, and that's when she goes to the X-Men begging for help from Professor X. I think that would be a better build-up for her character, personally. But I know what you mean. We all want to see the X-Men be introduced.
The
But
thing is, do you know what? I could potentially see that though. I could potentially see Rogue being the oh god. As soon as you zoomed into my face, I was so what?
who's that guy?
As soon I mean, it doesn't seem that far off. It could be the case that, oh no, I need to control my powers. And then you see Professor X. The thing is, do you know what? So I feel like their costumes, when they do bring back the X-Men and whatnot, I feel like they're going to be very, very true to their original costumes in the old show. So you're going to see Cyclops in blue and yellow. You're going to see like the original type of updated costumes.
Which is one thing I hated about the old X-Men movies, that they used to rip the piss out of the old costumes. Those are classic costumes, Bryan Singer. You do not dare talk about those costumes in a negative manner.
Whose costume did you actually like from the old X-Men?
Nobody's. Can't think of one. Bavik, where's your hair gone? Just show my brother your hair bun. Yeah, it's still there. It's still there.
It's still there. It's still there.
Yeah. So I think
I look like a thumb with eyebrows and hair.
It's okay. The other thing we have to talk about as well is so what happened at the end of that scene as well. They swapped places, and we see the bangle. Oh, by the way, are we in agreement that they swapped places, or do you think she transitioned into looking like Carol Danvers?
I think she swapped places.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad we're in agreement. I'm pretty sure that happened as well. So I think where's the comment? I think my brother's right. I think that kind of proves for me personally that was Kree tech, her bangle, because I think this is all connected now. Miss Marvel she's not Kree, but she hangs out. She knows the Krees pretty well. We've got to go back as well to Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
The end credits of Shang-Chi, where Wong and Miss Marvel and Bruce Banner call Shang-Chi back and say, hey, we need to study your 10 rings because they're a bit weird. And we see the 10 rings in episode 2 of Miss Marvel when they find the bangle. So definitely it's looking like to me 10 rings are connected to the bangle. 10 rings are not from this realm. It feels at the least. So at the very least, I think Carol Danvers, Wong, and Bruce Banner may have been experimenting with some tech to kind of work out where the 10 rings come from. And that's kind of caused some kind of chain reaction, which has led to this swappage. That's what
Here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the 10 rings from Shang-Chi, could the 10 rings represent, do they have different representation, as in like what they stand for?
So in the comics, they're actually rings which you put on your finger. And each ring...
But this time they've done it as cuffs.
Yeah, because I didn't want to make it too much like the gauntlet.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so they thought we'll just make it like cuffs. And it's a good point as well. The 10 rings and the bangles are both worn on the same part of the body. I never realized that. That's a good point. But yeah, in the comics, the 10 rings, they do represent different things, and each ring has a different power to it.
Okay, because what I was going to say is, do those rings represent different dimensions or something like that? But if they don't, they don't.
Not different dimensions, but I think you could be onto something. I think think you could be onto something. I'll do some research on the rings because they do have all different powers. But I think you might have. I think you got a point, Bavik. I think you might have unlocked something. But I think definitely all of these things are connected, and the 10 rings and the studying of the 10 rings has led to that swappage going on, because I think the bangle and the 10 rings were made by the same people, same tech. I'm going to go Kree tech because there were blue arms in that temple. Still not ruling out Atlanteans. I still think that's an outside bet. Hey, now that we know Kamala Khan's a mutant, she used to say it wasn't a blue mutant who had those arms. So do you think we're going to see maybe end credit scene of the Marvels? Think about it, end credit scene. Kamala's sitting there, all proud of herself, Bavik. She's proud of herself that she's like won the battle. And then you see wheels just rolling along the corridor. Turns into Kamala's room.
What was that whistle?
It was somebody on the street, believe it or not. My window
sounds like it was literally next to you.
Go away. No. And
I feel like I've already seen. Now, my thing is, I don't want to see Professor X again. We've already seen him.
What did he do to you?
No, not like that. No. We've already seen him in the Multiverse of Madness. I personally don't want to see the same mutant over and over again, or same X-Men over and over again, because it's just kind of like, okay. Now I understand the fact that we'll probably might see him again because obviously he's the leader of the X-Men. He's Professor Charles Xavier and whatnot, which is, I get it, but personally I don't want to see him. If it is the case, then it's like, okay, I can get behind it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to be disappointed in that regard.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed.
I think we're going to I think we're going to see all the classic X-Men coming back in, because that's what people want to see. People are going to want to see Professor X, Wolverine, Cyclops. So now that we've got mutants, another bold prediction from me: Black Panther 2. I never thought this before, but now that we've seen Kamala Khan as a mutant, Storm in Black Panther.
Oh yeah, no, I knew that was going to happen.
Do you think 100% that's going to happen?
It's either going to be in 4 that she was going to appear, which I haven't seen, so I don't know if she has appeared or not. Feel free to ruin it for me because I wouldn't care. She doesn't. What's that thing? What's that film where they basically communicate with each other with blinking? There's a scene where they start blinking.
Not sure I'm aware of that movie, I've got to say. Yeah, and the brother makes a good point. Submariner is actually Marvel's first mutant. It's true. The Submariner is Marvel's first mutant in the comics. He is the first mutant. Well, technically, Apocalypse is the first mutant, but comic-wise, in terms of debut,
I see.
He's the first mutant.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Talking about Storm popping up in Black Panther 2.
It would make sense for me because I kind of know what happens between Storm and Black Panther.
It's a toxic relationship.
It's a toxic relationship, but then she eventually becomes Black Panther in one universe or whatnot. So that will be quite interesting.
Yeah, so obviously they've said they're not going to recast T'Challa.
Yeah.
So but me and Dowdy actually going to do a follow-up podcast one day about whether they should recast Chadwick Boseman.
So then would you think that if they don't recast him, basically just computer image him
No, they've said they're not going to do that. They said they're just going to move away from the T'Challa character. But Dowdy's very adamant they should recast, and it'll be interesting to get him on one day so he can properly put his views across, because he makes compelling arguments. That man does. He even shifted me a bit to his side, not totally, but like I was a bit like, you know something, bro, you got me thinking about stuff.
I wouldn't be opposed of the idea. Well, I wouldn't be opposed of the idea in general anyway. If Shuri becomes Black Panther,
Which is a possibility.
yeah.
But apparently, I think they've nearly finished filming, or they have finished filming, and it's now in the editing stage. So it'll be coming soon. This Black Panther 2 is either going to be a disaster or it's going to be amazing. I don't think there's going to be any in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited, man. I think what Miss Marvel has done for Phase 4, I think it is it's created the pinnacle moments in Phase 4. That's what it.
Now, I feel, well, are we still going to be talking about the mutants and X-Men? Or shall we actually talk?
If there's anything else you want to mention about the mutants or the X-Men? By the way, my brother reckons they should recast T'Challa. Strong character, he says, with great storylines. That was one of Mr. Cato's arguments as well.
I heard a rumor that they were just going to get, again, it was a rumor, Michael B. Jordan just to play Black Panther.
Yeah, so I've heard that as well. But what I've heard is that he's going to be in Black Panther 2, but he will be a character in the ancestral plane.
Okay, so basically he's passed on.
Yeah, but he will be someone they communicate to.
Okay. But yeah, I think we should actually we talked about the end of the episode.
Okay. Let's talk about
We should talk about all the other stuff now.
Yeah, I'm exhausted talking about the mutants. Do you want to kick off talking about the episode?
I think I'm the one that predicted that Kamala's mother's gonna make her costume for her.
Sorry, there's now a helicopter above my house.
I was about to say something that I shouldn't.
Yeah, so the episode, they turn up back in. So they're back from Pakistan essentially. They turn up, and it's a nice family scene, and they already know she's a superhero, like proper like South Asians. We can't keep a secret for love nor money. That is us down to a T. And do you know what you predicted something last week, Bavik, and it came true. That like they may come across like Asian parents may come across like really ultra protective and stuff, but they can also be like very accepting of things like really quickly as well, and that's what they were. They were, like typical Asian families. Okay, for you to have powers, because our daughter's unique now. Our daughter's better than your daughter now because she's got powers. Your daughter hasn't got superpowers. So
your daughter's gone to Harvard.
Yeah.
My daughter actually saved the world, so your daughter can go to Harvard.
Yeah, my daughter's gone to Harvard. my daughter's joining the Avengers, bitch. That's essentially like what Asian parents are like. So yeah, I thought that was nice, and yeah, it was very, it was well played, and something. As much as I liked the Karachi stuff, they should have just stayed. What do you think? I think they should have just stayed in New Jersey for the entirety of the season. I think it would have been a far better paced series.
I get what you mean. They could have elaborated more in terms of the backstory of Aisha and whatnot, but then it's just kind of like if they went back to if they went to Karachi or Bangkok rather, and done a whole series of that.
Yeah,
it would have been. I think it would have been too much. They could have done like a good chunk of episodes within Karachi, like what 4 or 5 episodes, and then gone back to New Jersey. But that would be for like the second season.
Yeah, 100%. I just think personally, I really like Kamala's dad, and I like Amir, and I like Nakia, I like Brian. I just like these people, and I got as invested in their lives as I did Kamala's lives.
Do you know what? This show, I'll as now it's the end of the show now and everything. It was a very heartwarming show.
Yeah.
It was very heartwarming, and also Kamala's dad, the actor, he's an amazing actor. I've seen him in quite a few things. He normally plays like a villainous type character.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, it's a villainous type character. He plays a very stern character. And this was like a completely different role for him from what I've seen.
It's a bit like in Modern Family. The dad who plays the dad in Modern Family, who's got the two daughters and the son. I've forgotten his name. But in movies, he's normally like the psychopath, like creepy character. But in Modern Family, he plays a really like cool, loving dad. But yeah, it's the same with. It sounds like it's the same here. But yeah, I think that dad's a great character. He's such a cool, chilled out person. And for people who don't believe us, yes, they exist in the Asian community. People like that do actually exist.
Oh yeah, Asian dads, they are big softies.
Yeah.
It's just a hard exterior. It's just the exterior. This is the thing.
Yeah. I think that making the MCU multicultural was good. Totally. And we're here now. And you know something? It was nice to see lots of brown faces being depicted the way we really are, because we're not all terrorists. We're not all mad scientists. We're not all just people who just stay on the side. You know.
I want to ask you a question actually now.
Okay.
Now that you've brought about. Now, I might be wrong as well, to be fair. But who was the first brown person to actually be in like the whole Marvel film / cinematic universe?
In the cinematic universe?
Yeah, MCU.
From the movies, as actual proper character,
yeah,
I guess it would have been Kamala Khan.
Nope.
Who was it?
It's an actor called Irfan Khan. He was in
Kingo. Sorry, Kingo as well from Eternals. Sorry,
Kingo.
Yeah.
So I'm actually on his. Again, I might be very wrong in what I'm saying. I can't even find. Where was he in? I think he was in Spider-Man. I want to say Spider-Man.
Okay, but as a proper like known character, it's Kingo from Eternals.
Oh no, I'm talking just about as an actor.
As an actor.
Yeah,
I'm
as an actor.
Sure, there are others. I can't.
But he was in The Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, he passed away now. I was actually quite sad when he passed away.
Oh, okay.
There.
There, indeed. Anyway, so
there.
they get a FaceTime basically from Cameron and Brian, aka Bruno, aka the cop blocker, saying like, oh, the shop's been blown up, we need help. And they all kind of meet up together, and you see like Cameron's powers are like really kind of taking him over. I think he says like
they're crushing it. He's being crushed. Feels like he's being crushed from the inside.
Yeah, which was quite a vivid kind of. Don't mention the Eternals. It's like the Inhumans. Now. It's like being crushed from the inside. That was like, yeah. So they all kind of, so they know they're being sought after by damage control. So they, instead of going to the mosque, they go to the school. But there's this great scene where damage control comes to the mosque, and the entire community is there working together to stall damage control.
Yeah,
and I love the bit when Nakia wouldn't let them go into that room, and it was just that boy in there, really happy
to be a boyfriend.
Really happy that he got to pretend he was Nakia's boyfriend.
Yeah. Plot twist in season 2, they're not pretending, they're actually boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well, I'll tell you what the plot twist for season 2 is going to be in a second. If you've read the comics.
Which I haven't.
You should do. But so yeah. So they all meet up in the school. I love the way that Zoe just happens to be there. I love the way, like, yeah, we
That
don't.
was so weird.
And you know, so yes, Damage Controls didn't take their shoes off, and that was bloody disrespectful from Damage Control, and you should do better.
That woman from Damage Control, I don't know her name, so I'm literally gonna call her that woman. Feminist, if you want to come for me, but she's literally that woman. She was one of the most disgusting characters in the whole entire show.
It was right.
I'm so sorry. Like, you are definitely a Trump supporter.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they did
Hands
like,
down.
and they did like hints in episode 1, or no, episode 2 when she's interviewing Zoe. She did say some very, the borderline racist things to Zoe.
Oh no, there's nothing borderline about it. There's either racist or not racist.
Okay.
Don't blur the lines. Just say it what it is.
Okay, she said racist things to Zoe.
Don't pander to those things.
I like pandas, thank you very much.
Pandas, the only things that can be blurred are pandas because they're black and I'm white. That's literally it.
Yeah, I think we're reading too much into pandas now, but yeah. But yeah, I just loved it, and I love the entire community coming together when it gets to school. And yeah, Zoe just happens to be there because that's where she films her TikToks, apparently.
But the thing is, it's just kind of like, not being funny, right? If it's so easy for people to get into a school like that, no wonder. And yes, this is me thinking a bit more into things. Yes, then this is how people can actually plant bombs and everything like that. Where is the security?
Yeah, okay. Let's just rein it in a bit. Come on. I think we need to start talking about school shootings and stuff, Bavik. It's a sensitive subject, let's keep it jolly.
Let's keep it PG, guys.
Yeah, keep it PG. So yeah. And then I love it. Amir just turns up as well. Just like out of nowhere, just turns up. Yeah, I climbed in through a window.
I happen to used to go to this school, so I know everything.
But you know something? When he said like, "Oh, my mum made me come because I had to chaperone you," from the moment it didn't make sense, and it was like, "Oh, that makes perfect sense," because I'm like, "Yeah, that's what an Asian parent would do."
Yeah.
You come with your little sister and you look after. But my little sister's like 25 years old. You go with her and you make sure she's okay.
But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah,
I love the whole trial, they're planning and whatnot.
that was
The
great.
whole entire thing.
That was great.
Especially when they bursted through the door the first time and they were like, "Oh, there's a bomb on the premises. We're right in front of it." Then the disco ball drops.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
It was great. It was kind of like an Indian Home Alone moment.
Yeah.
With the booby traps there. But there was an important conversation. Did you pick up on the conversation between Zoe and Nakia?
Oh yeah.
So Nakia says, "Oh, how comes you never snitched on? How comes you never went snitch mode on?" I'm using my own language now. How comes you never went snitch mode on Kamala? And she's like, and Zoe's like, "Well, I can't remember her exact wording, but she says, people have got.
It's her time for her to. She should do it at her own accord.
Yeah, she should do it. Yeah, she should do it at her own time. So in the comics, Zoe and Nakia actually enter into a relationship.
Oh yeah, I know about that, but I don't think that's going to be happening.
I think that line was referencing that's what will happen.
Maybe we don't know.
I think that was the little hint they were putting in there that, that Zoe and Nakia will end up being together.
Sorry, I just had a message from my friend.
It's okay.
Responded to that.
Tell him you're busy. Unless he wants to comment and talk X-Men, which is fine.
No.
Yeah. So they all turn up. The Damage Control turn up, much to the Bavik, it's the 2020s.
Oh no! Now my friend wants to join the stream. Not join the stream. Hold on. Let's get more people in. Let me send a link.
You mean you haven't been sending links out?
I have been, but she always just tends to like ignore when I send things. I'm like, okay, you're a great friend, aren't you?
Well, to get here quick, we're probably going to be done in about 15 or 20 minutes.
Ooh.
Cool. So damage control turn up, and all of their kind of all of their traps have been set. And I love we've got like a skeleton who stabs the balloon for some reason. I thought that was a nice touch. And
I love the elephant toothpaste thing that happened.
Yes, that was pretty cool. But what's happening as well is Zoe's live Instagramming what's going on. So the entire community finds out what's going on.
And then the entire community literally show up outside the school.
I absolutely love that.
It's just kind of like everyone, the parents, the random kids, the aunties, the Illuminantes.
Yeah. They all turn up.
Literally turn up.
And I absolutely loved it that, I think I have fallen in love with, not just, as I said earlier, those main characters. I think I've fallen in love with this community. I've been to New Jersey. It's boring. But this part of New Jersey seems really nice.
You've been to New Jersey?
Yeah.
You've been to America?
Yeah.
When?
When I was 13.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You were 1 year old.
Oh, I was born, yeah.
I'll tell you all about it one day.
Well, when I was born.
No, about my trip to America. I've told you that story about when you were born. Multiple times. But yeah, so that happens, and damage control enter, and they actually take out Nakia, Amir, Zoe, and Bruno quite quickly on the floor. But no, Miss Marvel, Kamala, and Cameron, they're fighting back, man. They're doing what they can against damage control, and as that's happening, communities turning up. They've gone against Agent Cleary's orders to actually go in there, and Agent Cleary knows this is going to be a disaster publicity-wise, but she's just, because of her hatred, she's just gone ahead and done it.
Do you know what? It would be quite interesting to see in season 2, if they do bring her back, to see what her hatred is for, or why she was so persistent in the whole entire thing.
Does she hate superheroes, or does she hate brown people?
I love how you pause, the dramatic pause.
No, I'm just going to get my words out quick, and I was thinking, what's the word?
You could have just basically said, oh my god. You know when they do like the transitions during PowerPoint presentations? As soon as you said that word, PowerPoint presentation should come up with the sound effects.
Yeah. So, but essentially, the fight gets taken outside, and Cameron's powers are kind of like all over the shop. But then you see it, Bavik. Miss Marvel, Kamala, she says "embiggen," and her powers actually begin to look like how they look like in the comics.
I just want to know where that word came from.
It's from the comics. I'm not sure if it's in the Oxford Dictionary, but
it should be.
It's a word. It's a word all the same. And she takes on the powers which she has in the Oxford Dictionary. Some people are quite upset. They're kind of saying, "Oh, she'd been bigger or kind of more imposing." I think they're going to save that moment for the Marvels, where she properly goes Ant-Man giant size.
I'm not being funny, but she's only started using her powers in proper circumstances and whatnot. Give her a chance. Jeez. You're not going to get like a person to ride a bike without the training wheels straight away.
100%. And as they're fighting back, they kind of go into that kind of cocoon, which I thought was quite cool as well, which they've made. And then damage control kind of go in. And I love that now the community is trying to stop damage control from getting to them. They surround Kamala and Cameron. Oh, before that, sorry. Somehow Kamala's punched a hole in the floor. Cameron's jumped in it and escaped. I'm not sure how that's worked. It's probably best not to think too much about that scene.
I mean, I feel like that would have led to the center of the earth, and Cameron would be like melted. But then again, he's inherited powers, so he might be fine.
I think people are saying he kind of jumped into the sewer.
That makes sense.
And then maybe just used his phone to guide himself to the harbour to get away. Just getting this in before you go. When you do the full review, which will be Saturday, 3:00, please find out about the Harry Enfield Stavros character. Yes, Russell Crowe does sound a little like the Harry Enfield Stavros character. As anybody below 30 has no idea about this character. Yeah, I think I'll be doing the 4 stream by myself, but yeah, I know about the Harry Enfield. I'll try and get a clip of the Stavros character. And the similarities with the main character in the movie. Yeah. Russell Crowe does do a questionable Greek accent in 4 Love and Thunder. Which isn't a spoiler because you hear that in the trailers anyway.
Is Russell Crowe still popular now?
It's in the eye of the beholder.
Because I remember he used to be everywhere, and then now he's not.
Yeah.
The last time I heard a bit about him was when he supposedly spat on a female art, like singer / songwriter / artist's face.
Oh, did he? Yeah. But yeah. So damage control, and the police actually say no, you can't come in. And you know the big beardy police officer who they go to first? That's actually Yasmin Fletcher's dad in real life.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yasmin Fletcher, who plays Nakia in the show. So yeah, a bit of a.
That's quite interesting. Is he an actual actor or not really?
I don't think so. I think he was just like, "Oh, do you want a cameo?" Like,
he was just like, "That's actually quite cool." Imagine you just go onto the set and then be like, "Yeah, do you want a few seconds of fame? Can you fit into that costume?"
Yeah, because I think that thing as well is like, even though like I think they're all 18, 19 years old, these actors, I imagine with recent things that have gone on, they probably still want a parent or guardian on the set with them.
Oh yeah.
Just being safe. So he was probably just standing there, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to suit up and go in there?" And yeah, it was great. And Agent Cleary phones up and says, "Yep, I'm standing you down." Agent Cleary again. There's a lot going on with this character which we don't know about, and he knows Nick Fury's in space, and we need to find out why. And yeah, and Cameron gets away. He manages to get to the Red Daggers in Pakistan somehow by the harbour. And yeah, and you know something, Bavik? The episode ends. Well, it doesn't end, but it kind of nears an end.
We have already talked about the end already, kind of.
The bit before the bit we talked about.
Yeah.
That scene where Kamala's sitting on the roof of her house, and her dad says, "I just loved it." And he's like, "Oh, I'm very afraid." I was like, "Oh, this is so lovely." He's such a nice man, Kamala's dad.
Yeah.
Such a nice man. They just talk about stuff, and it was just great seeing. It was just great seeing a proper family that get along.
Yeah.
A bit like our family.
You saw my face right there, didn't you?
Yes. Sorry, that really tickled me, that joke. So yeah, just final thoughts. Yeah, I think, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a perfect series, but I think in terms of impact, it hit the mark. You know, I'm glad they put Partition in there, even though I thought the Partition part of the story, if you look at it from a storyline point of view, the Partition part probably wasn't needed. I think it would have flowed better had they just stayed in New Jersey and carried the story. But sometimes it's more important to maybe just give that message and to remind people of that history and sacrifice the story.
The thing is, it's just kind of like, if it was the case the series was going to be longer, like not just six episodes in the season. Say if there was like what 12 episodes, then okay, you could have gone a little bit more in depth. But then I think in terms of like the pacing of the show, in terms of who's the actual target audience for the show, like I'm not being funny. I don't think a child will be engaging in. I say child, and I use that term loosely. Like 12 episodes about the same thing, and there's plot holes and whatnot come up. But yeah, it was very good. I would say I would give it an 8.
Oh wow.
I would give it an 8. I'm very quite critical when it comes to like putting it in like out of 10 and whatnot. Star Wars 10 out of 10. I don't care.
Any Star Wars thing.
Any Star Wars.
I would give Marvel a good solid 7 out of 10. I think just the pacing in the middle just let it down a bit. Like I loved the first episode of Miss Marvel. I was watching, I was thinking, you don't even need a baddie in this show. You just carry on telling the stories of these characters. You know, I would have been interested just telling the story of like Nakia, like trying to end up on the council of the mosque. For me, that would have been a great story in itself. To tell. I just love these characters which they've put in this show. And yeah, brown people being depicted the way we should have always been depicted. Because most of us are nice people.
80-20.
Most of us. I mean, don't trust those ones who are currently trying to become the prime minister of the country. They're not nice people. But the rest of us are.
And you said I can't be political.
Yeah, I couldn't. I needed to qualify that statement. It would be nice for Spider-Man to go to New Jersey. Yes, there was a bit actually where Miss Marvel was sitting on the lamppost, and for a moment I did think, oh my God, are we going to see Tom Holland swing by and say hello to her?
Hold on, there is actually something called Spooderman.
God,
I'm not joking. I'm going to send it to you right now, and I want you to like screen share when I send it to you, so everyone knows what Spooderman is.
I can't screen share this because I've got to make it into a PDF.
Okay, fine. Let me just show you on my phone.
Okay.
Spooderman.
Ezra Bridger is more of the chosen one than Skywalker. That's something for Babbitt to get into at a later date. I'm sure he will have opinions about that.
I'm still trying to make my way through Rebels.
Oh, once you get through Rebels, you answer that question.
Spooderman. That's Spooderman.
That's not right. Why is he? Dude, he looks like a scrotum.
I think that's the whole idea. But this is what they've done. This is another version of Spooderman, where they just literally took out his nose.
You know something? In the multiverse, he exists. Somewhere in the multiverse, Spooderman is real.
There is a universe in the multiverse where everyone doesn't have noses, and Voldemort is basically the king of the noseless world.
Yeah, indeed. Right, so
you're just like, I'm just tired of that statement. Go to bed. Get off my live stream.
So yeah. Again, I just want to finish by saying, Miss Marvel, thank you for being impactful. Thank you to Kevin Feige and Disney for actually doing this. It was brave. It's worth.
And there was one key message that you forgot as well.
Go on.
Hold on. I need to make sure I quote myself properly. There is no normal.
Okay.
I think you need to rewatch the end part of, not the actual, like the fight scene between Cameron and Kamala again.
Okay, I think. Okay.
Bye.
But yeah, I think it was great. It was impactful, and it gave us everything we wanted. And thank you, Mr. Feige, for doing this. The viewing figures were amongst some of the worst for the Disney Plus Marvel shows, but the ratings were really high. The people who watched it rated it really highly, and I think that speaks volumes as well. So, yeah.
Kevin Feige, you are invited to Manish Bhai's wedding, and you deserve a plate.
Listen, if Kevin Feige came to my wedding, I'm going to kick my bride out of the seat. I'm going to marry Kevin Feige instead because that would be far more. That'd be far more beneficial to the family. I'm not sure how Kevin Feige would feel about this, but I'll try and make it happen. Right.
You just need to be very persuasive.
Yeah. Please, Feige, please. Okay. Well, Bavik, say goodbye.
Bye.